is electric.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Just thought I'd have a cheeky glass of wine. Right, it's time to talk about electric cars. We've changed our electric car. The Volkswagen EGolf is gone. We've got a new electric car for Susan. So I want to tell you about what we've got, how we got it, and I guess I'll share all the information about how much we paid and all those sort of things. I've learned quite a lot through this process. I thought I had a clue about pricing. Not at all. So interesting numbers to share with you. Sadly, we didn't get as much for the electric Golf as I hoped. I thought we might get 13 and a half for it, especially with its configuration, but months have clocked on and it's now winter. They're not worth quite so much in winter, and prices have dropped again, or trade prices have anyway. So we ended up selling to WeBuyAnyCar.com, and I'm a bit disappointed with that, but it was better than the trade-in value we were offered. So we saved a few £100 by letting it go to WeBuyAnyCar.com. Isn't it a shame? A real shame that you can't sort of match people that are ready to trade a car or sell it to WeBuyAnyCar.com to those that are ready to buy. Because if you could match the two up, I'd much rather the car went to an individual. And to my annoyance, I just met up with a friend, Tim, and we had breakfast together, and he was saying, oh, you should let me know. I'm looking for a little run-around electric car that's a good value. I'd have had that. And yes, it's annoying, and when I mentioned another friend had traded in a Tesla Model 3 for a very good price as well, he said, yeah, that would have been of interest. So he's interested in anything from a Nissan Leaf to Zoes, Model 3s, basically anything that just seems like good value. He wants a bargain. So if you're looking about trading or selling to WeBuyAnyCar.com and you're ready to do that now, send me a direct message about what you've got and what you're hoping to trade it for, and you never know. Tim might like that and offer you just a little bit more for it. So if I could do what I wish could have happened for me, because I didn't know Tim was looking for a car, I'll gladly help facilitate that by matching someone that wants to get rid of the car to someone that wants to buy it for a bit of a bargain. And yeah, and trade prices are a bit of a bargain. Anyway, so yeah, the EGolf's gone, so I don't want to talk too much about that. Apart from, it was a good electric car for Susan, her first electric car. And I'm glad that we did it this way round, with getting her a car with a smaller battery and I suppose forcing her to get used to charging so she's not frightened about it. Because I am convinced there's this charger anxiety and range anxiety. I mean, it is sort of real, but it's not if you just use some common sense and with a little bit of experience. And once you've done it a few times, it just all disappears. So the fact that Susan's become a charging expert now with the Golf on all her journeys over 100 miles, it really helps going forward, that she's not apprehensive about electric cars at all anymore, so she'll never be going back to petrol and diesel. So yeah, the Golf has served well as her first electric car. It was a fantastic car and fantastic spec. Someone's going to get a great car. But as I said, less about the Golf, more about what we've got for Susan. And here it is. I shared a little bit of information on Twitter. It is a Kia ESOL. Well, of course it is. You must have known. If you've been watching this channel, you've known that Susan really liked the ESOL, and it was only a matter of time before we actually got one. So let's start with, what's happened and how we got to this point of getting her an ESOL. And it all started, I guess, when we ordered a brand new ESOL from Kia. It was the right car for her. She absolutely loved it, loved the test drive. I like the drive of it. I like the technology. Very similar to the Kona electric I had before. And Kia cancelled the order on us. So that put us off Kia themselves, Kia UK. And for the new car, they stopped making the Max and they started making the Urban and Explore. The Explore model they put out for $6,000 more than what we were going to buy the Max for. So no wonder they wanted to cancel our order, because they wanted us to bump up some more money. Well, not a chance. We weren't going to do that. So instead of buying the Soul, we went off it completely. And I looked at a Cupra Born thinking, yeah, that may be a good car for Susan and me. So it was a nice drive. I liked it. It was a good size. Susan would like it. She enjoyed the drive. But luckily in time, I worked out that she wasn't she wasn't really in love with the car, and it wasn't my perfect car. So if it wasn't perfect for me and it wasn't perfect for her, it's a good job we cancelled it. But that was £38,500 for a V2 Cupra Born. So I'm glad we didn't go ahead with that. And since then, I've ordered a Volvo EX30. Coincidentally, £38,500. So yeah, I'm glad we didn't get the Cupra Born, because the Volvo looks much better value. But the same thing again, you know, I was thinking one long range car and the Mini might be perfect for us. So Susan can either have the Mini or she can use the Volvo. What would be wrong with that? And we checked the screen out and she seemed all right about it. The only thing I could think about the Volvo with the single screen and no dash and no buttons is if she gets flustered. And she does get flustered at junctions and that sometimes. So if there were some warning messages appearing over the top of the sat-nav and blocking her view of where she was going, etc., that wouldn't be ideal. So that was about the only problem we could find with the Volvo screen. So that wasn't really an issue. But the problem with the cars is Susan doesn't really want a brand new car. It's too precious. It's like my special thing. She wants a more beaten up thing with more miles on it and a couple of dents, you know, with a bit of patina on it. And she wants something that she knows I'm not going to fly off the handle if she comes back and she's curbed a wheel or something. That would suit Susan better. So it suddenly dawned on us that rather than keep trying to get a brand new car that was perfect for both of us, we just need a car that I really want and love, and a car that she really wants and loves. And the Kia Soul has always been that car, so we just decided sort of there and then, let's go for it. Let's get in contact with ecocars.net and try and get one from auction. And that's where we basically started. I did a test drive with an XC40 Volvo. I wanted to see what the drivetrain and one-pedal driving was like with Volvo. I'd experienced it in Polestar. I just wanted to see if it was all consistent and get an impression of what it would be like with the EX30. Anyway, we had a terrible experience with Volvo. They're very dismissive, considering that we're actually a customer and have ordered a car. I can't believe how poor the service was from Holden Volvo in Norwich. But Kia Holden was just next door, and they had a new Kia Soul outside as demonstrator. So Susan says, "Oh, should we just test it and see if they're still nice? See if I still really want one." So we went in, got a quote from the dealer for a new car, which wasn't a very good discount, so we weren't going to buy a new one. But we went for a test drive, and yeah, she again loved the car and does everything I would want from a long-range car as well. So we absolutely decided we're going to go forward and get her one, and we found four 70 Reg blue first edition Kia e-Souls, and we were looking for a Max originally, and yeah, they would be a year, 2 years old, and they were going for up to about 23 and a bit thousand pounds. So we were looking for those, but none were coming up at auction. It was just first editions. And I guess that's why, because the ones coming up are the 3-year-old ones. The cars that are 1 and 2 years old aren't coming up for sale yet. So when it dawned on me that what we actually want is a higher mileage, less than perfect car, buying from auction just seemed like the perfect thing. You know, why spend more at a dealer when we can go to ecocars.net and get a good car? Because the more I looked at it, the more the description of the car was perfect. You know, they really go over it and tell you every dent and every mark, so you know what you're getting. So I was comfortable doing that, and the 4 cars we found, let's talk about them. So we found 2 at BCA auctions, and one was, they're all 70 Reg, first editions, so all exactly the same cars, and amazingly all in the same colour as well, the Neptune blue. One was 17,500 miles, one was 49 and change miles, so one low mileage, one higher mileage. We found one private and one at a dealer, so there's a good range. Now, I was looking at the one that was 49,000 miles at auction. I thought that would be the better one, get better value, get a good deal, the lower price I can pay, the more happy I will be and not freak out when there's an extra mark or 3 on it. So that was my thinking. So I looked at the WeBuyAnyCar.price for the same car and realised, you know, 13 was a low price for the car. 14 would be a higher price for the car, I thought, and I just got that completely wrong. I thought bidding 14.2, which is what we bid for the car, stood a chance, of getting it, but the car went for 15.5. So 15,500 at auction for 49,000 miles. That would have been £1,000 auction fees roughly on top, auction and admin fees for eco cars, plus up to £350–400 for delivery if we want to take delivery. And that was for one with some dents and chips. You know, to be expected. It was grade 1, so it was very, very good. But you know, those marks were there. To my surprise, the 17,000 mile car had no service history on it, so there was probably no warranty with the car because there was no documented history with the car. I mean, maybe it was serviced, and in which case it would be online with Kia, so it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe it wasn't serviced though. Maybe it was serviced by the company themselves and didn't bother stamping anything, in which case, yeah, the warranty would be arguable, I guess. And also the 17,000 mile one, I think, had more marks on it. All the wheels were curbed. I might have got that wrong. It might have been the other way around, but actually it surprised me. I think the lower mileage one had more marks on it. But the lower mileage one had a cap clean value of £18,500, a lot more than the higher mileage 49,000 one. And I was surprised at that difference. The mileage made such a difference, thousands of pounds of difference. So yeah, the higher mileage is absolutely fine because in an EV, you're really not going to notice the difference. The same car, same age, probably been used the same number of times. The owner's just sat in it longer for longer journeys. So the only wear and tear on a higher mileage one is really the battery being DC charged, isn't it? If it's been charged up and down a motorway, etc. But that you can't find out. You can't find out how the car's been used previously. So it's a shame we didn't get the higher mileage one, I thought, and we weren't going to bid on the one without service history just for the risk of not getting a warranty, but also it's just out of my price range. I wanted a bargain car. I didn't want to pay that much. 18.5 plus £1,000 fees, plus anything else like a valet to get it newish for Susan. Just seemed too much. So I looked on Auto Trader and we found a private one. It was up for sale for $18,900. Again, exactly the same age. The mileage was what was it, about 25,000 miles? So it was pretty good. One owner from new, service history, sounded good. Called up and sold. Sold the week before. They dropped the price by $1,000 and sold it for $17,900. So disappointing. I was actually going to bid 17. So again, I was off. I'm too optimistic, thinking I'm going to get a bargain, and clearly not. Clearly, EVs are selling and selling for decent money. You know, I say decent, you know, a lot less than what they were a year ago, but the difference between the trade value and the value cars are going for privately or elsewhere, at auction, etc., has really, really surprised me. So anyway, just as we're really disappointed, oh, we're not going to get one, you know, Susan's in a strop, I suppose. We've lost the one at auction, we didn't get that. That was my mistake on not getting the pricing right. And then this private one was already sold. She saw one advertised at a dealer, and to my surprise it was £17,900 roughly. I think it was $17,999, something like that. But it was at Richmond, and I thought, oh god, a bit cheaper than what I thought. And Richmond, you know, it's a London car, it's going to be some dodgy dealer, isn't it? So I wasn't very happy about that, to go for it, because it seemed too low a price. Until we looked into the actual dealer. It wasn't just a car dealer, it was a main Kia dealer. And it wasn't Richmond, London, it was Richmond up north. It was Richmond, well, north of Yorkshire. I'm not sure where it was, but Susan's just been up there. It was right near Scotch Corner. So I was thinking, hang on a minute, you know, one owner car, full service history. We contacted them and it was apparently no marks on it. Anything that was there, they've already done the smart repairs. It is perfect. And lowish mileage, it was the same sort of mileage as the private one. I think it's 28,000 miles. Sounded too good to be true for that sort of price, considering the 17,000 mile one went at auction for 18.5, plus 1,000 auction fees, etc. You think, 17.9 at a dealer? How can this be right? But anyway, turned out absolutely above board. It was a main Kia dealer. Maybe there's a price difference between north and south. Maybe prices up north are a little bit less than they are down south. I'm just not sure. It's bamboozled me. How can that be? how can a private car sale of 17.9, a dealer be selling one for 17.9, and one as close to it, okay, a little bit lower mileage, but in worse condition with no service history, went at auction for more? It's just screwed with my mind. Anyway, we bought that car. So Susan, she went to pick the car up on her own. I stayed at home and looked after the dog. I gave her a lift to Norwich station. She got a train to Peterborough, which had no heating, so Victorian transport. I've had a bit of a rant about that on Twitter. And then from Peterborough up to Darlington, in total miles between us is 220 miles. So that was a more comfortable journey up there for her. And then the dealer picked her up from Darlington, 13-mile trip across to Richmond, and she did the deal. I'd already paid for the car, so she sorted out getting it taxed, getting it registered, and they gave her a really good thorough talk about the car as if she was new to electric cars, so I was really encouraged about that. They even set up Kia Connect, so the car came to us online. We're already configured. Her phone was Bluetooth connected. She was shown where the driver information is. So yeah, really good service from SG Petch up in Richmond. I can't believe how good it was. I was thinking worst case scenario, you know, Kia Connect wouldn't be connected, there'd be damage on the car would stink inside, you know, there'd be all sorts of issues with it. I wasn't expecting much from it, but just turned out to be an absolutely straight car. Even the service history looks right for the right times, the tyres look right, it's got 2 Nexons on it and 2 alternative tyres on it, Kumbo, something like that. So a cheaper brand tyre on the car, but they've been changed in 2s, and they look right. So it's, you know, not like you're turning up and you've got 4 different tyres on the car and you think, what on earth's going on there? So the car seems very, very straight. I'm very, very happy with it. Just confused about the pricing. Happy that we've ended up paying a figure that we're happy to pay, and ended up getting a one-owner car full history from a dealer. Susan drove the car home, 220 miles. She actually stopped after 93 at an Instavolt charger. Not to charge, she didn't need a charge, just to have a break and have something to eat and drink. So if we'd have been in the EGolf driving back from Darlington, she'd have stopped at about the same place, 93 miles. So it just goes to show, you know, the Sol's got a 64 kilowatt hour battery, got loads of range, but you know, the Golf would have been just as adequate on that journey. People that think you can't do longer journeys and smaller battery EVs, you're just wrong. It's just practical and sensible to actually stop for 20 minutes or 30 minutes in a 200-mile journey. So yeah, Susan did that, didn't charge. The plan was to get all the way to King's Lynn, see if she needed a charge, top up, splash and dash if she needed to get home. But lo and behold, she did the full 220 miles and got home with 28 spare. So that's 248-mile range from a 3-year-old Kia Soul with 28,000 miles on it. And it was about 1 or 2 degrees outside. She had the heating on at 20 degrees, and so we found out this morning she'd actually had the window open at the back for the whole journey as well, letting all that lovely heat out. So she'd left a window open all the time. So I think that's pretty good. It was 4 miles per kilowatt hour. It just dropped down from 4 to 3.9 as she pulled in the driveway. So roughly 4 miles per kilowatt hour. Just super impressed with that. 248 miles of range in the worst sort of wintry conditions. Okay, it's not quite worse, but you know, almost freezing conditions, and no charging to warm the battery, etc., and the heating on. Very, very happy with that. So she's not going to have to charge very much at all on any of the trips she does. I think she's got one coming up to go to Cheltenham. So yeah, that'll be almost 200 miles to get there, so she'll definitely be charging to get back on that one. But most of her other journeys, she won't be charging at all. And I think I looked the other day for the EGolf. She'd charged up about £350 for a year worth of public charging. So that's £350 worth of savings we're probably going to make. She's not going to charge very much at all. In the eSoul, so I haven't really had a thorough look around the car yet. I've just popped out to it and set some of the settings, so set the drive mode, so the right level of regen. She did comment that the regen's not right. It isn't regenning enough. She's having to go to the brake pedal too much. So it was all set on regen level 1. So I've set it for regen level 2 on for her. She doesn't like it too much, and she didn't want to fiddle with the paddles. She didn't basically touch anything in case it didn't work. So yeah, the car's been set up. I've made sure all the charging modes are right and the charging limits are all set how we want. Stop the wing mirrors folding in and out as well, because now it's frosty and icy outside. The last thing you want is those to freeze up and then the motor to break when you're trying to unlock the car. So I've done that. Basically got it all set up. I haven't checked tyre pressures yet. I didn't find tyre pressures on any of the menus, so I need to look at that and try and find where the tyre pressure monitoring system is. I'm sure it's got one. But anyway, I'll do some videos later about the spec of the car and all that's on it, but it just reminds me of the Hyundai Kona. It's got everything. It's got the heads-up display and the heated seats, electric mirrors, heated steering wheel, it's just everything. And it's got that amazing Korean efficiency. So yeah, while Susan was pulling away and driving around the city areas, she was getting 6 miles per kilowatt hour. So the technology, the drivetrain, the battery, whatever it is that makes these Korean cars so much better, they are just more efficient than any others, and I have no idea how they are. So it's great to have that efficiency back. But the Kia Soul, that's Susan's car. Mine's the Mini, and yeah, the Volvo EX30. Whilst I was looking at cars and prices though, I've got to confess, I couldn't help but look at a Kona, and I kept trying to say to Susan, why don't you get a Kona instead? Because when we couldn't find a Soul, why don't you get one there? They're the same sort of size. It's a hatchback. It's great for Cracker. A Kona would be fine, but no, she'd want the Soul. Despite me finding this gorgeous red one on Auto Trader being sold privately with a lovely mushroom interior. I like the lighter interior. Now I've got that in my Mini. I really like this Kona with a lighter interior. And I thought the price wasn't too bad. I thought 23 and a bit, not too bad a price. But then I looked at the We Buy Any Car price for that car. So it's a Kona 64, the facelift model, not the brand new one now, facelift, 72 reg, what was it, 10,000 miles? I think it was 10,000 miles. 18,500 is the We Buy Any Car price for it. 18,500, wow! The private owner is asking 5 grand over trade for it. So great if you can get it, but would I pay 5 grand over trade price for a private sale with no extra warranties about the car, etc.? It's actually a lot. So I suddenly went from thinking 23.5 sounds about right for an ultimate Kona facelift with low mileage to suddenly thinking perhaps that's well overpriced. Perhaps 20 is a good price to buy that privately. I don't know, it's another example of I cannot understand the pricing at the moment. Trade, auction, retail, basically you're lucky if you get a good price. The guy that sold the Soul privately for 17.9, obviously he's done really well. He's just sold it for a retail price. Jesus, it's well done if you can do it, but it's not the way it goes. It never seems to work that way for me. I always end up getting the low prices like we just did for the EGolf, but just got to let go. Pricing wise, I've started to think if we'd have bought the brand new Soul a year, 18 months ago, whenever it was, we'd have actually spent more money than we have buying the Golf and now buying the Soul. Okay, we've ended up with a car that's at least a year older and a few more miles on it, but I don't know. Not having bought a brand new car probably will work out better for Susan. So far, I've got a happy wife. And yeah, I'm happy. It didn't cost too much to trade up from the Golf to the Soul, and we've got that excellent efficiency again for longer journeys. So all in all, yeah, I'm very, very happy. Now the question is, do I keep the Mini? Because I do love my Mini. It is such a great car and a great electric car. Do I keep it? Or the Volvo EX30? I've ordered it. It's on the way. Just makes me think, we have got the one longer range car now. Do we need another one? But then again, it's not about do we need it. For those that haven't seen my videos again before, no, I'm not super rich and I don't get loads of money off these YouTube videos, but I have been sensible over the years and I have saved from my pension, and I've got a tax-free lump sum from my pension, and I've always planned to buy myself a nice car with that money. So I've saved hard for it. The money's there. So the question is, do I treat myself or don't I? And it's a really, really hard one when I don't need it. We don't need it because we don't need 2 long-range cars, and I do love my Mini. But I just love cars, so it wouldn't surprise me. maybe the sensible thing to do is not buy new. Because, you know, I was going to put a video out a few months ago saying whatever you do, don't buy a new car like me. You know, I'm being daft. The price they are used at the moment, it just makes no sense. And I suppose you've got that as an argument. You know, look at Susan's e-Sol outside. Okay, it's 3 years old. Slightly older tech, but actually Susan likes the older tech and the buttons, so no problem there. The efficiency is great. The car's like new from what I've seen. The interior is just lovely. The button clicks all feel fresh and new. So far I haven't found anything at all that taints the car away from we've got a new car. It doesn't feel like we just bought an old car. So paying 18,000 for it is surely better than paying 38,000 for a new one. In fact, the new Explorer, they wanted 40 grand for it. So 18, half the price, 3 years old, just seems a better bargain. I don't know why you'd buy new anymore. I guess, you know, years ago it used to be you want that new car feeling and you want the car to be perfect. But is that worth that much money? Is it really worth that much money? Difference, 18 to 40,000, so £22,000 just for the luxury of having a brand new car because it's still in warranty. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. I've shared enough. I look forward to sharing more road trips with you in the e-Sol and more information about the car. It'd be very interesting to see how similar it is to the Kona, how similar they really are, not just efficiency wise and range wise, but you know, all the tech in there. One of the things I just went to look for, Susan doesn't really like the heads up display and doesn't use it, so I was looking to see if it, like in the Mini, you can actually turn it off so it stays down, doesn't keep lowering up and going up and down every time you start the car, and it doesn't appear to be a way of actually turning it off. You can change a lot of the height of the information in there and those sort of things, but I don't think you can actually physically turn it off so it doesn't go up and down. If you've got an e-Sol or an e-Nero and you know how to do that, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video and following me on the journey, and Susan. Do you know another really weird thing? You know, I'm the one that likes cars. I like swapping cars. Susan's had 4 cars since I've known her. I've only had 3. I really thought it was me that would be swapping and changing cars all the time. But it turns out we've struggled to find the right car for Susan. This is it. If I do another video saying we bought another car for Susan, someone kick me because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, and we shouldn't do it. That's a perfect car, and that's the one we're keeping for a lot of years. So thank you very much for watching again. Take care, everyone. See you again for more videos. Won't be long. End of month video about solar and energy usage. Take care. Bye for now.